Beautiful national anthem sung there by Mariana Aiello, setting the tone for her team and
It's always great when you hear.
multi-talented athlete.
It's always great when you hear the national anthem. Just get your blood flowing. Just get you ready to go.
It does, especially when you have a live performance of someone,
Exactly.
You love
yeah.
the audio, you love listening to it, but when you have someone's voice and the microphone going,
It's night and day.
yeah, of course.
So as we get set for this matchup today, again, with the young roster and a very kind of small roster AIC's trotting out, we're not sure about the amount of events the Yellow Jackets will be participating in today.
We have a basis of what we expect, but you never know, and we'll call it in a live time. And again, if this is your first time tuning into this sport by chance, I want to let you know that acrobatics and tumbling meets are super exciting. They are fast-paced and fan-friendly. Each meet is held as a contest between 2 to 3 teams, of course 2 today. Each team has up to 28 competitors on their roster and compete in 6 events throughout the meet, including compulsory, acro, pyramid, toss, tumbling, and team. In total, teams compete head-to-head in 20 heats during a competition. Teams are evaluated in each heat by a panel of officials receiving a score based on a starting difficulty value and execution of declared skills. In a meet, a team could score up to a maximum of 300 points. The team with the highest overall score is declared the winner.
It's a very good point you brought out. We're going to start things off with a compulsory event. The acro heat is going to be kicking things off today. So in the compulsory event, each team competes in identical predetermined set of skills with a predetermined starting value of 10. There are 4 heats that include the acro, pyramid, toss, and tumbling. Each heat can score up to a perfect 10 with a total combined score of 40 points. The compulsory skills are considered to be the building blocks of acrobatics and tumbling. They're going to be reviewed by the committee every 3 years.
AIC, of course, comes in their first year in competition and has participated in 2 meets. They nearly doubled their score in their second meet, which was against the Cougars. The duo pass of the tumbling event, which we'll get to later on, featuring Esperanza Rivera and Miranda Puis, combined to score 6.4. Puis also scored a 6.8 in the open pass heat. We'll start here with the compulsory of the AIC Yellow Jackets. Kayla Aurora, Miranda Puis, Esperanza Puis, and Eliana Azor. Solid performance there.
Yeah, I got to give them credit.
And a good catch for good measure.
Yeah, got to give credit. Yellow Jackets, they looked very clean on that. Nice and strong.
It's
very consistent.
Holding by Eliana Azor and, of course, Esperanza Puis, the flyer up there. And they finished off that compulsory acro event very strong.
Yeah, got to give them credit there. And I think the other point you got to make again is such a small roster. You also got to remember that this team's going to be building chemistry. I think that's a big thing, is that with a small roster, trotting out only like 5 or 6 athletes out there, that means in the coming years, as the program's going to get building and building, that event's going to get better and better because these athletes are going to know each other in and out so well.
As the Cougars get ready to trot out for their compulsory acro event. And for Caldwell, trotting onto the floor will be number 1, Cadence Vining. Number 24 is Amaya Mosley. Number 14, Mariana Aiello. And number 6, Tatiana Carrera.
Hush falls over the Newman Center as Caldwell gets set to make their entrance out onto the floor for the first time today. Again, a beautiful March afternoon. Got about 65 degrees going right now.
Yeah, it's nice weather outside. Of course, we're in the gym today. I was going to mention Coach Amira Boyd leading her team. Always has great fashion on.
Exactly. Put together an absolutely amazing outfit for it today. Always came ready for business.
judges are just writing down the AIC score at the moment as we await the Caldwell Cougars to enter their floor for the first time. Of course, each score will be revealed after the event is over. So once the compulsory event is over for both squads, we'll get each score and the individual heats before we move to the next event.
See Coach Boyd and Coach Palmieri down by the Caldwell side and hyping up the athletes, getting them ready to go. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, you could say for a David and Goliath matchup, you can't underestimate a team, and you can't underestimate this AIC squad. Even though you might have the numbers advantage, you can't underestimate it.
Who would have thought you would be calling Caldwell the Goliath after this program only in its third year? We know they struggled over the past couple of years, but, you know, they're coming off their highest event mark ever, scoring 221 points over Stevenson on March 2nd. Here we go. Beautiful flips there from Fitzmaurice and Vining.
Good job.
That is a phenomenal performance from the Cougars in the compulsory acro event. Night and day from the first time we saw them on this mat perform that same routine just 1 month ago.
It's all about growth, and that's how you get a match started. Your first event, immediately come out swinging, Caldwell. Very great execution all around. I think Caldwell might walk away with a close to a perfect 10 to start things off.
Yeah, that has to be a high score. We'll see what the judges think once these scores are put in. As next, we'll head to the pyramid heat of the compulsory event. Of course, each one of these heats, the maximum score is 10. The compulsory pyramid team of Sims, Mosley, Morales, Aiello, Fitzmaurice, Cardone, Vereen, Gleason, Bain, Riggio, Vining, Dunn, and Lanza, say that 10 times, scored a 9.6 in their last event. So this is a group that is very sharp on the floor. Of course, first the Yellow Jackets will take part in the pyramid heat of the compulsory event. We mentioned with their numbers and depth, we'll keep you updated on which events they will be taking place in.
I believe we're not going to be seeing a pyramid event from the Yellow Jackets. I believe we're not going to see any more of the Yellow Jackets for the compulsory.
Yeah, it looks like we have here that they were competing in the acro compulsory, but they might not have an entrance for the rest of the compulsory events, which would leave the Cougars to take place in the next three, to finish out this event.
Get through your last final heats, then you move on to the acro event. So we'll see what Caldwell can do. As stated before, because of the Yellow Jackets not having events taking place, there is going to be a small little bit of a break for the Cougars to kind of just get your rest back. Not as much as it would be for a full break, but there is just a slight little break to get the Cougars' energy back to go instead of just trotting them immediately out.
So Caldwell will be coming out for the pyramid heat of the compulsory event.
This was the event last time that we saw the Cougars that really had our hearts kind of stopped for a few seconds. So we'll see if Caldwell
definitely picked it back up at Stevenson, though. Obviously, as I mentioned, with that 9.6. So let's see if they can stay sharp at home, though. Great formation of that pyramid so far. The base is on the ground. Fitzmaurice up in the air on the left, Vining on the right. They flip down. And I think the catch on the right was a little sharper, but Fitzmaurice able to be caught as well.
Definitely, yeah, you brought that out there. A little bit of a sharper catch on the right side, but a great finish all around by the Caldwell Cougars. And, you know, that's the thing that we've always been saying about this team is that they've been so technically sound this last year. And when you consider the jump that they've made in the last 3 seasons, it really is quite remarkable when you're looking at what they're doing this year.
Yeah, if we go all the way back to 2023, of course, their first ever event against Stevenson, they put up 113 points, but they had 2 meets that year. One at Kutztown, where they only put up 86, and one at East Stroudsburg, where they put up the same exact score of 86.85. And now I don't think they've gone under 150 in a meet so far this season.
No, they have not. They have not gone under 150 since.
They actually haven't gone under 183.
Yeah, it's really been incredible what they've done. And when you look at the depth that they've gotten, they've gone under 183. And then so far this season, they haven't even gone under 200 points in the first 3 matches of the season so far. So when you talk about building a culture and building kind of the brand of excellence, this is the best place to start.
It is, and you see the roster just expand with the classes that Coach Boyd is bringing in. People want to participate in this sport. They want to be here, and they want to be at Caldwell and grow and excel, especially with their teammates. It's such a big sport chemistry-wise, and you can see the cheers and celebration after each heat is performed successfully from the rest of the Caldwell women that are on the side.
Absolutely, and another big point to make is just the fact that Caldwell, after this season, they're only losing 2 people. They're only losing 2 athletes on this entire roster. Think about how great that is culture-wise, that you're not losing a whole lot after this season. And with the work that they've done, to lose only 2 people is quite remarkable.
Yeah, of course, McKenna Lanza and El Cardone. They participated in Senior Day last year, but decided to come back to contribute to this program one more time.
Exactly. Cardone got a senior ceremony last season. Lanza will be getting the senior ceremony today, as Cardone received it last year. So we'll see what Lanza, being sort of the commander in charge, getting everybody on count for the events. As Caldwell will step out onto the floor now for the toss heat. Put him 9-6-5 against Stevenson in the toss heat. We'll see if Caldwell can keep it up.
Yeah, it seems like so far through those 3 meets, the compulsory has been one of Caldwell's most excellent events. That is just beautiful from Caldwell, those flips.
Great job. You said it. This is probably one of their best events. It's the market of consistency. Being consistent in each event that they've done, getting through, having strong finishes throughout. You know, if you could get out to a very good start in the compulsory event, you really can carry momentum throughout the entirety of a match. So now we're going to be awaiting shortly.
Of course, the officials in this compulsory event, they look for a few different things. Strong body positions, which the Cougars demonstrated there. 3-second holds, stability of structures, and then that continuity of skills. Obviously, these skills are important throughout the group that's on the floor. Strong catches and solid landings, which I believe Caldwell did very well there.
Oh, yeah, it was a fantastic job with the landings as well. Very strong. And, you know, that's always been sort of the danger of the sport that we've always kind of been wondering is how are they going to land? Are they going to land all right? Hopefully nobody really has a tough finish. Well, they've all been great so far. And Caldwell now with the final heat of the compulsory event. See what they can do before we move on to the acro event. Hush falls over the Newman Center, getting ready for the acro event to rise up.
And, you know, one thing that you could look at as a negative for this AIC team is obviously not being able to compete in this event with the numbers they have. But a positive would be being able to watch and evaluate the other team, see what they're doing in each one of these events to use going forward in the next few years and take and grow and take some of those skills and positions that Caldwell uses to put into their own game and own routine.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I said at the outset, it's about the building blocks, kind of like how the compulsory events, the building blocks for the match. I think AIC's in the building stage right now where they're really trying to figure out like what culture's best for us, what works for us, what doesn't. And I think next season is really, and then I think after the season, in the off season, it's all about just getting recruits and building that roster number up. So Caldwell makes its way out now for the tumbling heat in the compulsory event.
Piper Fitzmaurice, Joe Riggio, Naraya Sims, Mariana Aiello, Jackie Vereen, Kimora Bush, Ellie Cardone, and Alexa Bain. Very in sync Cougars team so far.
That's a great job. That is fantastic.
Now running the floor. All 8 of the women. Triple backflip. All landed in sync.
Great job as they give a clap after doing their signature Cougs emote. Great finish so far.
Claw going forward there.
I thought that was really well done. I thought that was really, really solid. I think Caldwell, again, they kind of understand that, you know what, it's starting to get towards the end of the season. They really have kind of gelled together, especially at the start of the year. So I got to give them credit. They've been looking great so far. So now we await the scores coming through for the the compulsory event. And then we move on to the acro event. In the acro event, teams compete in 3 different heats of 5, 6, and 7 elements. The 6-element heat is synchronized with 2 groups. Groups of 2 to 4 athletes will compete in acrobatic lifts and tosses, demonstrating strength, balance, and technique from both the bases and tops. Each heat may score up to a perfect 10 with a total combined score in this event of up to 30 points. So for AIC, for the Yellow Jackets, they'll be competing in the 5-element and the 6-element and the 7-element, actually. So that's a very good sign. They only have 1 group, though, in the 6-element, so be wary of that. They will be competing in this acro event, which I'm very excited to see. I'm excited to see what the American International College could do.
Start value of the elements is determined by the difficulty and combination of each skill. Each position must be held for 3 seconds. The officials in this acro event will be looking for body position of the top, stability from the base, and the continuity of skills. Once again, this event demonstrates power, strength, and balance throughout the teams.
Nick Iacovo, Trevor Spinelli.
As we await the scores of the compulsory event, we'll get back to you as soon as we have them live here on the CACC Network. You're listening to Caldwell University Acrobatics and Tumbling. Back here on the CACC Network, Trevor Spinelli with Nick Iacovo. The scores are in for the compulsory event. In the acro portion, AIC puts up a 3.50 in the event, the only heat, that they participated in. Caldwell puts up an 8.35, a solid number for the Cougars, not as great as their 9.6 in the last meet. In the pyramid, Caldwell puts up an 8.75, and the toss, Caldwell puts up a 9.1.
Very good sign. Very good showing to start things off for Caldwell. So now who's in play here? AIC steps out onto the floor as they will get set now for the acro event.
This is the 5-element featuring number 3, Kaylee Aurora, number 17, Miranda Pues, number 5, Esperanza Pues, number 7, Eliana Azora, number 9, Sadie Edmonds. Solid start from the Yellow Jackets. West almost slipped a little bit there. It was a nice recovery. Aurora grabbing her legs, getting her back down, and that'll do it for the 5-element for the Yellow Jackets.
Good start, good start. Got a little dangerous with the slippage coming through early on, but thankfully everybody seems to be all right. So now as we await Caldwell to walk out onto the floor, Cougars currently lead 31-4.
And of course, AIC at 3.5 at the moment. Our scoreboard showing 4. As we await the Cougars to come on out for the 5 element in the acro event. Talking with their coaches, Coach Boyd, Coach Palmieri, it'll be McKenna Lanza, the senior leading the charge, along with Alexa Foster, Carly Gleason, Mariana Aiello, and of course Piper Fitzmaurice, the 5 on the floor in the 5 element. Slippage there. Fitzmaurice drops down. Not sure if they're going to have her go back up and restart it. Looks like they will. Might hurt the Cougars score a little bit there. Fitzmaurice with a clean
way to recover.
Flip.
Caldwell's got to get it going. Time clock is winding down.
Yeah, down at 13 seconds already on the clock. Fitzmaurice hanging in the air. Gleason getting ready for the catch. Brings her down. That was a very clean catch by Gleason. Good transition with her and Fitzmaurice. Of course, the beginning of that heat will hurt the Cougars' score.
Definitely. That's, I think, a very good point to make.
You mentioned that AIC, obviously, not going to have the scores or the depth on the team, but the Cougars can't underestimate them, and you got to be as sharp as possible. It's very hard when you're having someone go up in the air and you have to hold their feet and obviously balance them, and we see those slippages every now and then, but the Cougars, can't come up short in some of these events. Other teams are going to be looking at their scores, scouting them, and seeing what they're doing.
Yeah, I think for Caldwell, you mentioned it right there. You can't underestimate a team. Again, it's David and the Goliath story. You can't underestimate the David in AIC. Obviously, them not competing in multiple events and multiple heats is going to ding their score quite significantly. But I think for Caldwell, though, that just means that it puts more pressure on you to be better in the events that you are in. Because you know what? You got to grow that gap. You don't want it to come down where the events that they aren't competing in, you put up a bad score and you make this match a lot closer than you think.
AIC will be competing in the 6 element with 5 other athletes. The 6 element synchronization. Kayla Aurora, Miranda Poes, Esperanza Poes, Eliana Azor, and the captain, Cynthia Edmonds, rocking the number 9 on the yellow jerseys for the Yellow Jackets. Poes will be lifted up here. That was a very nice job basing her. Very clean. And not the sharpest round game there. Azor so strong on the bottom.
Very good job. Very good job. Solid. I think that's one of those, I think that was a very solid job all around by the Yellow Jackets. Finishing off, they're getting down. Make sure everybody's in the right positions at the right time. I'm excited to see what they're going to do in the 7 element. As Caldwell will be entering out onto the floor in just a few short moments.
Caldwell will be bringing out a pretty large group for the 6 element. 9 women out there on the floor. Number 2, Kamara Bush. Number 24, Samaya Mosley. Number 8, El Cardone. Number 27, Jackie Vereen. Number 1, Cadence Vining. Number 10, Janessa Morales. Number 13, Naraya Sims. Number 28, Caitlin Sparacio. And number 11, the captain, McKenna Lanza, ready to perform in the 6 element synchronization as the judges write down their score for AIC's performance. Good to see the Yellow Jackets taking part in all of the events, or all of the heats in this event, this acro event. Cougars feeling comfortable out there. Dancing a little bit on the side, preparing for their heat. Not feeling much pressure in this one, but just trying to perform their best. AIC, one of 2 teams that the Cougars faced twice in this short 6-match season. Caldwell started off the year against Georgian Court here on February 19th, and they'll go back down to Georgian Court April 10th, Thursday night at 6 p.m. So twice with Georgian Court, twice with AIC as the Cougars enter the floor. Going up on the left is Bush, the right is Vining.
Very great job, and that got a roar from the Caldwell side. They were excited about that. Very good execution. And that was an excellent job. Very good job in the early going that we saw from Caldwell there. See how AIC can match that in their 7 element coming up shortly.
AIC just trying to build on their previous scores in the first 2 meets of their program's life. 16.625 against Georgian Court, 31.075 against Caldwell, and trying to improve every meet and hopefully get over that 31-point hump today. AIC faced Georgian Court in their first meet. They'll face Georgian Court again on March 19th, next Wednesday. So they faced the Cougars twice and Georgian Court twice. So all 3 of these squads very familiar with each other after this season ends. And AIC will finish the year Friday, March 28th versus Quinnipiac. So that'll be a fun one for them. A great program in many sports at Quinnipiac. This is Kaylee Aurora, Miranda Puez, Esperanza Puez, Eliana Azor, and Sadia Edmonds. The names you've been hearing all night so far. Esperanza Puez, the one being held up right now by 3 women below her in the base.
Good strong hold. Very good job at the end. Good strong hold.
A very good performance there. Of course, AIC fired up, all smiles. That might be their best 7-element performance of the season so far. And
absolutely.
Azor just has been so crucial with that base and the strength that she brings to this team.
You need somebody that's strong to be able to hold up a lot of the actions going on. So give AIC credit. That was a very good job, very strong hold as well. So I'm liking what I've been seeing out of the Yellow Jackets today. Again, for a young program, a very small program as well, they really are putting together a very good performance today.
As we wait the Cougars to come onto the floor for their 7 element to finish out the element or the acro event. The group coming onto the floor for the Cougars will be a small group of 4. Cadence Vining, Maya Mosley, Jill Riggio, and Avery Dunn.
Do you want to mention at the outset, according to our stat sheet, it does not look like we are going to see an AIC pyramid event at all. So Caldwell will be the lone team in the pyramid event. But before we get there, let's see how Caldwell can do in the third and final heat of the acro event.
And Vining hanging on at the top. Good recovery by Mosley. Helped out in the back by Gleason, the freshman. And a solid turn from Vining. I think they'd want her to get a little bit higher, but she was able to hold on. Flips into the catch, and Riggio catches her with ease. Caldwell doesn't want to take too much time going up there. 10 seconds now on the clock. Down to 6. And Vining caught down by Mosley. And the Cougars finish out the acro heat right there.
Very good, strong finish there. Again, it was a little bit of a wobbly start early on, but give credit to Caldwell for adjusting at the very end. As we await the scores coming through for the acro event, we're going to step aside, and then we'll get back to you shortly for the pyramid event.
So we have the scores in for the acro event. a 7.2 in the 5 element. For the Yellow Jackets, a 2.1 in the 6 element, and a 2.5 in the 7 element. As we await the Cougars scores here.
Caldwell so far is doing a great job. But I think
as the pyramid event will start, Heat 1 for the Cougars. Now on to the floor. 9 women on the floor. You see that 2-1-1 pyramid. And a little lean on top by Cardone, who falls nicely into the hands of Gleason and Mosley. And we'll get back to you with the scores of the acro event as soon as we can see them from our viewpoint for the Cougars. Just know that the score is right around 55-15 at the moment. So for Caldwell in the 5 element, they put up a 7.5. Of course, they had that little slippage at the top. An 8.3 in the 6 element, a solid score there, and an 8 flat in the 7 element, totaling a 23.8 score compared to the 11.85 of the Yellow Jackets. The Yellow Jackets hanging in that event.
Yeah, they were definitely. I think that score, that 5 elements, very, very accurate. I think Caldwell, they definitely made up ground towards the end of that 5 element, getting back into it after a very rough start with the fall going. But I think you also got to give them credit. They're doing very, very well so far. They're staying consistent, not doing anything too outlandish, out of the world, or out of the ordinary. But doing a great job here of holding on to the lead. Again, 40-point lead right now. We'll see if Caldwell can grow that. It's definitely going to grow with this event.
Yeah, of course, the Yellow Jackets not taking part in the pyramid event, and I do feel a little bad for the athletes that they have to make the 4.5-hour drive or down from Springfield, Massachusetts here to compete in only about half the events, but I understand that's the state of the team in their first season. There's a ton to grow on, and I bet they're very happy to be competing in this great sport, this great growing sport at this level, college level.
Got to be building progress as Caldwell now steps out onto the floor for the second heat of the pyramid event, the synchronized portion.
Core strength of Fitzmaurice and Vining, always incredible at the top. And a little 360 spin into the landing there.
Good landing. Unique. Yeah, very good landing. Good job all around. I think me and you both kind of were holding our breath a little bit as Fitzmaurice and Vining were going up. Thankfully, though, they landed safely, held up at the top. Great job by the bases. That's a very good job by Caldwell. As obviously the spring schedules are underway. Today, you can catch baseball, who just recently came off an unfortunate loss against East Stroudsburg. Softball, unfortunately, took a loss at Rollins College. Women's lacrosse, we will be awaiting the score as they were playing AIC today. Softball will then be taking on University of Tampa tomorrow in a doubleheader. And after that, we get bowling in the Northeast Roundup, the Northeastern Region Roundup on Saturday. Women's lacrosse will be at home against Dominican.
Yeah, I've teamed that breakfast with the Cougars, 10 a.m., the women's lacrosse matchup against their rival Dominican at the Kiwanis Oval.
Softball returns back home, and they will be going back on the road, actually, as they go to Goldie Beacom on Saturday. Baseball will be home for a doubleheader against University of Bridgeport as well. And, of course, I can't forget my partner, Trevor Spinelli, his men's lacrosse squad. hoping to get their first win of the season as they go on the road to Holy Family at noon in Philadelphia. My partner, Trevor Spinelli, achieved a goal in one of his previous games.
Against Malloy, it's a great moment as the defensive midi as this pyramid event concludes here in Heat 3.
This, I believe, is the open.
Oh, and a little slip at the top there. Vining is going to have to come down, and they're going to have to end the event there. And it's an unfortunate result for the Cougars, and something that you don't want to happen against, a team that's going to be a lot closer in score to them. It's funny too, because it's things you practice every single day in practice, and you work out flawlessly, and then you come here and can be different with the crowd and the parents. Obviously, you're looking right at the stands, and miscues can happen, and that one happening there in the Heat 3 of the pyramid event. So we'll see what the adjusted score will be, as Vining had to cut off or move short and fall down.
Exactly. That's a very good point you just brought up. It's a lot different when you're playing in front of a crowd compared to when you're just going normally. So I think for Caldwell, it's one of those things where you got to be consistent in terms of how you're going to finish off strong. And so that will conclude the pyramid event. As I believe we are going to be potentially going into a halftime break. As we have 15 minutes running down on the clock. And I believe we are going to be entering a halftime break, actually. So, with that being said, that guy Caldwell, Trevor Spinelli, you are watching Acrobatics and Tumbling on the CACC Network. We'll be back with the scores from the pyramid event, and we'll get you going for the toss event.
Welcome back to the CACC Network for this Acrobatics and Tumbling matchup between your home Caldwell University Cougars and the visiting AIC Yellow Jackets. The scores are in for the pyramid event as we head to the second half of this meet. Of course, AIC did not compete in the inversion, synchronized, or open pyramid. They did not compete in the event at all due to their numbers, which totaled a score of 0 in the pyramid event. For the Cougars, they put up an 8.65, 8.75, and 7.45. A 7.45 in the open, Nick, despite that fall from Cadence Vining. I'm surprised by how high that score was.
Yeah, me and you both. We were very kind of stunned by the minute that we saw it. We're like, wow, we can't believe that. 7.45, but I think that's a testament to how well this Cougars team has been today. They, even with a pretty decent blemish very early on in that open heat, in that open heat, they still managed to put a very good score. And Caldwell, again, even though AIC was not able to compete in the pyramid event, they have grown their lead substantially now. As now we get set for the toss event. As we got 3 heats in the toss event, the 450 salto, the synchronized, and the open. After that, we head on to tumbling and the team event. As AIC has not declared for the toss event, so they will not be competing in toss event either. They will be stepping out onto the floor for the tumbling event. So it'll be all Caldwell for the toss event as they're underway.
Cadence Vining with a beautiful flip.
Great job by Vining holding up at the top. Good solid turn all around. Calds did a great job. So now let's see how they can do in heat 2 of the in the synchronized heat. So once again, as we stated before, the Yellow Jackets have not declared for the toss event, so it'll be all Cougars. In the toss event. In the toss event, it's an aerial event with a group of bases tossing one top in the air. The top completes a flipping and or twisting skill, either forward or backward. 2 to 3 heats are solo tosses with one synchronized heat. Each heat may score up to a perfect 10 with a total combined score in this event of up to 30 points. I think Caldwell might be getting close to that 10-point mark in that 450. Let's see how they can look in the synchronized version.
Yeah, that was the 450 salto from the Cougars. They'll get ready for that synchronized.
Synchronized toss for Caldwell. As it's, I believe your tops for this are going to be Vining and Fitzmaurice.
For the synchronized toss, it features 2 groups. These groups should look exactly alike and be in sync. And they looked pretty in sync there to me.
Yeah, oh yeah. Giving them credit there. Very, very good job.
Officials looking for extension by the top, the height of the top when executing her skill, the top's body position, and tight catches by the base. And that might be the best synchronized toss I've seen from the Cougars thus far.
Yeah, very good toss. Very good job all around. They looked great. And they did a very good job on the toss. Apologies here, ladies and gentlemen. Currently working out some audio issues. So Caldwell getting set as they will enter in for the 3rd heat of the toss. This one's going to be the open, so we'll see who lineup goes out there. That looks like Aiello, Fitzmaurice, Cardone. Also Kamora Bush and Mariah Sims. And Janessa Morales as well. So Caldwell makes their way out onto the floor for heat number 3 of the toss.
Fitzmaurice will be the flyer here. Bush counting. Good extension to the top. And a beautifully executed flip there. And Fitzmaurice fired up with her team.
And Fitzmaurice gets a lot of height when she does that toss as well. On a scoring side high. Very good job all around by Caldwell. So the tumbling event will be on its way shortly. Caldwell would score 8.25 in the salto and 8.05 in the synchronized as we wait the final score for the open. It's currently Caldwell scoring 16.3 in the event so far. We'll see what the final score is going to be from the toss event.
After this, we'll have the tumbling event and finish with the team event. Of course, AIC will not be competing in the team event, but for the tumbling event, they'll be competing in the duo, the trio, and the open. They will not be competing in the quad, aerial, or 6th element. So half of those, the Yellow Jackets will be competing in, and that'll finish off their performances from this meet on the day with the duo, trio, and open. Of course, the Cougars will be taking part in each one of those heats, the duo, the trio, the quad, the aerial, the 6th element, and the open.
Caldwell, we got the final score from the open toss. It is an 8.5, so we'll wait the final score update for the Cougars today.
Put the Cougars to,
I believe that'll put them at
104.
Yep.
0.85, right around that mark. which will obviously extend this lead a lot further. Caldwell trying to stay over that 200 mark. My partner mentioned they have not had a meet this season below a score of 200. Trying to keep that streak going in their 4th meet today. As we head into the tumbling event.
Yeah, and the tumble's really kind of been the Caldwell kind of main scoring portion, as their duo they have a starting value of 7.25, but they have gotten really, really better. But we'll see how the Yellow Jackets can respond. Yellow Jackets starting off with the tumble.
Miranda Pues, Esperanza Pues, of course, going out there together. And starting off the duo portion of the tumbling.
Did a very good job. Good tumble. They're in sync as well. It's a good start for the Yellow Jackets.
So that was Miranda Pues and Esperanza there.
Esperanza Rivera and Miranda Pues giving a great job in the tumbling duo. So now for Caldwell and the duo, it's going to be for the Cougars.
It'll be Mariana Aiello and Avery Dunn. Dunn, the freshman from Chalfont, PA. Central Bucks High School, a health science major. She'll be on the left. And Aiello, who sang that beautiful national anthem, the sophomore bass and tumbler from Concord, California, a medical imaging major, will be on the right.
Very good job between the two of them, in sync as well.
Our technical director, Ethan Edwards over here, fired up after that performance. That one got him on his feet. And I think the synchronization of both of those women got everybody on their feet.
Gotta love the energy. Gotta love the energy boost between both of them.
This is a sport that just eludes so much fan love and excitement.
So now we'll see how the Yellow Jackets can respond as they're going into the trio. The trio pass now for AIC.
It'll be Miranda Pues and Esperanza Rivera going together in the trio. Opting to not go with a third and stick with those two for back-to-back heats.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how the judges are going to score that duo, because I think AIC did a very good job, and I think they're going to probably do just as good of a job on the trio as well.
You mentioned the scoring. It'll be interesting to see how they judge a duo going as a trio, if that hurts the score significantly or not, comparing the score of the duo versus the trio for AIC with these same two women out there for both heats.
Let's find out now. Here come the Yellow Jackets. Very good job all around by AIC. I believe that was Esperanza Rivera, who kind of just lost her footing on the landing.
A little bit at the end, but that performance was very reminiscent of the duo. They didn't really change anything up from the duo and the trio, staying consistent with it.
And I thought their duo that they did was actually really, really good, and that trio portion looked just as good as well. So now let's see what Caldwell could do in their trio. It'd be Kimora Bush, Piper Fitzmaurice, and Nariah Sims are going to be the 3 out there for Caldwell. As Coach Boyd getting her athletes fired up.
As Caldwell gets ready for their trio. Kimora Bush, Piper Fitzmaurice, and Nariah Sims leading the way for the Cougars. Of course, after this tumbling event, we'll just have the team event remaining. And this meet on the scoreboard all but done at the moment, but it's about practicing and getting better for the future for both of these young squads.
So we await our SID DJ Milani to give the announcement to kick off the trio pass, the trio tumble for Caldwell. And here we go. Caldwell makes their way out onto the floor. This crowd is fired up here.
I am too. Super excited to see this trio and what they could do on the mat. Wow, what a finish. A little one-legged aerial to start into multiple backflips, and the synchronization of those 3 women was incredible. That's got to be at least a 9, partner.
That's got to be at least a 9. Great job. They landed it all. Had a great synchronization coming through. Very good job all around. And so obviously with AIC not in the quad or the aerial or the 6 element, so it's going to be Caldwell who will be competing in those final tumbles before we get on to the open. Where for AIC, Miranda Puez is going to be competing in the open. Going up against for Caldwell's open, number 7, Jill Riggio, captain on the Cougars roster. But before we get there, Caldwell's got to get through the quad, aerial, and 6 element.
El Cardone, Alexa Bain, Ellie Bowen, and Jackie Vereen to lead the quad. AIC, of course, not competing in the quad, aerial, or 6 element portion of the tumbling event.
And you can see Caldwell, they're getting fired up, giving a little bit of a chant going. As they're up here in the studio, we're all fired up here, chanting along with them. Getting ready to go. You'll see Jackie Vereen again in the aerial portion of the tumble.
All 4 taking off with their run. And a twisting corkscrew there at the end.
Very good job. Great execution. Landed strong. All in sync. That's all you can really ask for out of a great event. And so we'll await very soon the aerial pass, the aerial portion of the tumbling event. As again, no yellow jacket declared for this event.
Jackie Vereen will be the lone Cougar in the aerial. Caldwell currently leading this meet by a significant amount.
And leading currently 105-15. As you look back, Caldwell scoring a 5.7 in the duo and a 6 in the trio. That may be a little bit surprising. AIC scoring a 5.4 in the duo. And that two-person trio did, in fact, hurt them as they would score only a 2 in the trio. So we await the scores for the quad pass for Caldwell. They'll be entered in shortly. So here we go now onto the aerial pass for the Cougars. For Caldwell, it's going to be 27, Jackie Vereen. As she gets set, Caldwell's fired up. Here comes Vereen.
Oh, and almost flawless. It was a great run until the end with the landing. Coach Amira Boyd still fired up for Jackie Vereen. Flips were impressive.
I think mine just lost her footing a little bit on the landing, kind of slipped a little bit on the heel. But a very good job by Vereen, and they're fired up.
You know, when you're bringing so much power in those legs and how fast you're running with the agility through those sprints and flips, it's always kind of hard to maintain the landing and stay with the same traction that you originally had in the beginning of the run.
You know, we mentioned this before. When you have a lot of momentum coming, sometimes it's very, very difficult, not just to get the momentum, but contain it throughout the whole entire portion of the event. And you saw that there. Vereen did a very good job of maintaining her momentum all the way throughout. But then with that momentum comes sometimes landing is not the cleanest. It's a very good job by Vereen, though, all around in that event. As Caldwell would score a 7.3 in the quad. It's a very, very good sign. And so we'll see what they're going to score in the aerial.
Yeah, I'm really surprised at that low trio score of 6.6, but
there's obviously the score being the way it is, and with AIC being down and not doing the team event as well, Caldwell is going to walk away 4-0 on the season, as they will win both their home matches.
yeah, obviously we knew going in that there would have been a very impossible thing to happen for Caldwell to not come away with the win at this meet. But AIC, not done yet.
Not done yet. They've done a great showing today. They've been in the events that they've competed in. They've been really, very strong. Have very solid elements so far today.
They still have one more heat. It's going to be the open portion of the tumbling event, and it'll be Miranda Pues, who's been the MVP for them so far today.
Definitely say so. I think all around she's been their strongest and most consistent performer.
This is a super young team, obviously. Once they get more numbers, these women will be comfortable with each other already going into next year. Kayla Aurora is a freshman. And then you have Sadia Edmonds, who's a freshman. Fantasia Monet, she's a freshman. You have Miranda Pues, who's a sophomore. Esperanza Rivera's a freshman. Eliana Azores, a sophomore. So no upperclassmen on this team, obviously, for this new program. So not like they got any transfers to come. They're building it from the ground up, and that's the way you have to do it. As here comes Piper Fitzmaurice. And that is a phenomenal performance from Fitzmaurice.
I dare say flawless. That was absolutely incredible by Fitzmaurice. Carrying the momentum throughout.
Flawless indeed.
I would definitely say that was flawless. If not, that's definitely as close as we've seen. Great job by Fitzmaurice on the 6th element. And so now we're getting set for the opener, where Prowess is going to have her hands full dealing with Captain Jill Riggio, as Riggio's been as consistent as ever in the open. As following this, we'll have the senior day ceremony coming through for number 11, McKenna Lanza, as Lanza will be honored today.
We await the scores to be put in by the judges. And so Jill Riggio will come out for the open portion of the tumbling event, flipping all over the place and landing it.
She's fired up.
You know, we saw her perform in this open heat back at the first home meet against Georgian Court. She had a few slippages in that. This one looked near flawless, and Miranda Prowess was not sent out for the tumbling open heat. So this might be it for AIC. We had it on our sheet that she would be competing in that portion of the event, but since Jill Riggio went, it looks like AIC passed on their opportunity to send somebody out there in the lineup.
Exactly, and we got the scores coming in. The aerial pass for Caldwell scoring an 8.9, and the 6th element by Fitzmaurice scoring a 9. Very, very surprising, but great numbers all around. As we await the scores on Riggio's open.
Yeah, Fitzmaurice putting up that score of 9 there. Not surprising that she got at least a 9 on that one. It was beautiful to watch.
While we await the team event getting set up, we'll go silent. We'll get you back with the final score of the open heat of the tumbling event, and then we'll get set for the team event for Caldwell.
Welcome back to the CACC Network for this acrobatics and tumbling meet between your home Caldwell Cougars and the visiting AIC Yellow Jackets. We just finished the tumbling event, and the scores are in. For the Cougars, for the duo pass, they scored a 5.75, a 6.6 in the trio pass. In the quad, they scored a 7.3 and 8.95 in the aerial, a 9 in the 6 element, and we await the score for the open for the Cougars. For the Yellow Jackets, they only competed in the duo and trio pass, scoring a 5.4 and a 2.0. So Caldwell will extend their lead even further here.
I believe Caldwell might have scored 8 in the open pass as the team scores as it currently stands. Caldwell leads 150 to 23 over AIC.
So unfortunately for the Yellow Jackets, they won't get to that score that they had in their last meet of 31, but still a better score than their first meet and working hard every single day. And their season's not done yet. They got Georgian Court on Wednesday and Quinnipiac on Wednesday the 19th, so next Wednesday, and Quinnipiac on Friday, March 28th. So 2 more opportunities for the Yellow Jackets to keep improving throughout this inaugural season, and a lot to build on for Coach McFarland's group. We want to thank them for coming out and making the drive from Springfield, Mass. to Caldwell, New Jersey today to compete in this great young and growing sport as the Cougars prepare for the team event.
While they prepare for the team event, we do officially have the final score. Jill Briggio scoring a 7.925 in the open pass of the tumbling event. So Caldwell will be the lone team doing the team event. Their starting value of the score for this event will be a 92. The team event has always been Caldwell's one of the more consistent events that they've been able to do. As we shall see what Caldwell is going to pull out in the team event. So in the team event, teams perform synchronized choreographed skills in a routine set to music. Each team competes up to 24 athletes. Routines are composed to showcase all skill sets that have been competed in the previous 5 events. This event has a maximum of 110 points. So certainly we have seen in the matches that we've called, teams can really sway the meet into their favor in the team event.
That won't have a factor in this meet today, but we have seen in the past meets how much the team event can impact the score, specifically in that first meet here where Georgian Court and Caldwell competed and the Cougars came away with a near 2-point victory. That was a very close meeting, and the team event obviously impacted that score a ton.
Absolutely, and again, team event always gets the crowd fired up. I think I have to stand for this one, partner.
The Cougars obviously send their entire roster onto the floor. Ken Alanza in the back on the left, doing the captaining duties. As they get ready, hear the choreography. Watch your Caldwell Cougars perform in the team event. Building those 3 pyramids consecutively. Fitzmaurice hitting about 6 backflips on the left. 6 Cougars being held in the air at the moment, and on the right, a little slip there from Mariah Sims. Down to 35 seconds on the clock. Great catches there. And putting the final touches on the team event. And the signature Cougs with the claw to finish it off.
Very good job, reaching just about the end of the shot clock. Very good score all around. Couple things, maybe.
Yeah, I think we've seen the Cougars a little sharper at times, you know.
I think they were a lot sharper in that Georgian Court team event than they were here, but still a very good score I'm expecting for them.
I mean, when you could bring 22 women on the floor and have them be in sync like that, practicing that routine over and over again and only having a few mistakes, that's still a phenomenal performance from the Cougars, who obviously, as you mentioned, are en route to their 4th victory today.
Absolutely. Great job all around. Mike Caldwell going on to a 4-0 season. And when you consider last year, them going 500, going 3-3, the first winning season in program history, only in its 3rd year, I think it's very, very impressive what Coach Boyd has done with this roster.
I think it is indeed, and as you mentioned, their 3rd year as a program, and they've guaranteed themselves a winning season. We know that meet coming up on Friday, March 21st, is going to be a tough one at LIU, and that one's going to be on ESPN+. So obviously we think the CACC network is the best network out there, and we love being members of it, but that's a network that, of course, be cool to see the Cougars compete on. And they'll be out in Brookville, New York, Friday, March 21st, if you want to tune into that one. And at Georgian Court on April 10th, that's a Thursday, they'll be back on the CACC network, the best network in all of the land.
Absolutely. We want to give a special mention to our SID, Jerry Milani, doing a great job with the stats and the scoring today. Our broadcast crew today of Ethan Edwards, always bringing the energy, always having a great job, making sure he's on top of the broadcast today.
As he shakes his hair around like a headbanger, getting fired up out here on the concourse. And it's always exciting to see these Cougars perform on the floor.
And so Caldwell is going to be awaiting the final score of the team event. We'll see if Caldwell can cross the 200 mark.
We see Coach Boyd with flowers and a framed picture of McKenna Lanza, one of the 2 seniors we're celebrating today. And I think it's a good time to tell you that today the Cougars are honoring senior McKenna Lanza and Alaya Cardone. Cardone participated in senior day last year, but decided to come back to our delight. So Lanza will be getting the ceremony today. McKenna is one of the founding members of the Caldwell Acrobatics and Tumbling team. She's been a steadying presence on the mat, participating in dozens of events. She's battled through injuries, but you'll see her calling out the cadence on most events, keeping the Cougars on track on various heats. We want to thank you, McKenna and Alaya Caldwell, Acro, and its supporters. Wish you the best going forward.
Strong veteran presence by both of them. Cardone, obviously, very, very touted in collegiate gymnastics world. Transferred over to Caldwell. Has done great things. Lanza been a steady hand.
And Lanza's been here since the start.
Exactly. Lanza been here since the start. Cardone transferred in late. Has really brought a sense of energy, a sense of fun. Brings it every practice. Always great to see. And I think a really good veteran presence and also a really good sign for Caldwell's roster. You're losing only 2 people. Bringing back all your heavy hitters for next year. So I think it's going to be a very, very strong 2026 for the Cougars, as this will be mine and Trevor's final match calling of Acro in 2025.
Yeah, it's been an honor to call both meets, both home meets. Of course, the first one against Georgian Court, this one against AIC. Me and my partner here, Nick Iacovo, always love calling these meets and talking Caldwell Cougars athletics. This is a sport that I've mentioned every time I'm on the air that it's growing, and it is so exciting to watch, different than the traditional gymnastics and having unique rules and all these women having unique skill sets of their own.
Our SID, Jerry Milani, getting ready to input the scores for the team event. As Caldwell's huddled up. And we also see down on the left side, Caldwell with Coach Boyd holding flowers and a poster for Lanza. As the senior ceremony, we'll keep the stream on for the senior ceremony for Lanza. As Jerry Milani has just informed us, the score for the team event is in. Caldwell scoring a 66 in the team event. So that will push their total up to about 216 for the match.
And so Caldwell keeping their streak alive. 4 straight meets. No score below 200 points. A great score on that team event for the Cougars. Of course, the event has a maximum of 110 points. That would be considered a perfect score. Caldwell putting up a score of 66 there. And the Cougars have won their 4th meet of the season. So congratulations to them. And again, we want to thank AIC for making the trip down south to New Jersey and participating here. I look to see that program grow over the next few years. Always good adding schools in this sport. And now we'll honor McKenna Lanza as Jerry Milani. And El Cardona, of course, our other senior, getting the flowers first. McKenna Lanza, joined by her family. Lanza all smiles, nearly tearing up out there in the center of the mat, being celebrated for all her great contributions to the program.
Coach Boyd is in to take the photo with Lanza, along with Coach Palmieri.
Photographer Jackie Regan taking shots of both coaches with Kenna Lanza, now a solo one. As she enjoys a win on senior night.
Now the team will join her.
The team will give flowers to AIC, so a great gesture from the Cougars to great sportsmanship there, as they'll hand out flowers to the entire Yellow Jackets roster and their coaches, building a great relationship with these two teams going forward. And you know, in a couple of years, this Yellow Jackets team will have a full roster set and go, and that'll be a competitive, fun matchup, partner.
Yellow Jackets, just like how the Cougars were last season, where it was all about just building, getting the building blocks going. They're in the building stage of building a culture, and I think next season, can't wait to see how that roster is going to grow. Yeah, I'm excited. And AIC, they've got some players. They've got some playmakers on that roster.
They have some tremendous athletes and very athletic squad. So good luck to them going forward. As the whole team will take a picture with McKenna Lanza. Great day and night for the program. And a lot to look forward to still going forward. The Cougars end with a score of 216.275, and the Yellow Jackets end with a score of 22.275.
Great job by Caldwell as they finish off 4-0
with still 2 more meets to go, both on the road. And this is their second highest scoring output of the season, coming off that program high of 221.75 at Stevenson. They scored a 201 and a 203 against Georgian Court and AIC, so a 216 is a solid number for them. Joe Reggio, cadence finding, other teammates, past teammates, taking pictures with McKenna Lanza in the center of the mat. But I think as far as this broadcast goes, we're happy the Cougars get another win. And we're happy that all of you joined us on the CACC network to witness it. 216 to 23 is the final. For Trevor Spinelli and Nick Iacovo, it's always an honor calling acrobatics and tumbling on the CACC network. Hope you enjoyed, and at home safe, folks.